Oh, that is right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Madness. It is episode 80. 80. Okay, 80 of The Madness. So, of course, we had to come in big. We finally, after almost a year of just being on the show, have changed the theme song and given Jess a little bit of flair in the theme song, as you could tell. And Jess, why don't you give the shout out to the wonderful creator of the new theme song of The Madness?
So the new theme song was made by one of my really good friends, Braden Massey. You can follow him and his music stuff on Instagram. I have to make sure I get it right. It's at mass, MASS _ music. He's so awesome. He's done this. He's made me music to use for dance classes, for recital songs and competition songs and things like that. And actually, today also happens to be his birthday.
Happy birthday,
happy
sir.
Happy birthday, Bray, and thank you for being amazing.
And thank you for embracing the madness yourself with that awesome theme song that is new. I'm sure we'll be coming back to you soon with some other stuff, and we appreciate it. So let's welcome you in another edition, as we said, episode 80 of The Madness, brought to you by ProSportsNotes.com and powered by WildfireRadio.com. You catch us over on WildfireRadio.com every Friday morning, 9 to 11. As always, we are live on YouTube as well. Hope you are checking us out there on the Pro Sports Notes channel. Jessica Town, as you've already heard, is here. I'm Rob Lange. Patrick McMahon in the house today. And Patrick is not just coming with himself. No. Patrick said, you know what? I'm setting my mark on this damn show, and I'm going to get these guys a guest. And Patrick, why don't you tell us who we're going to be talking to in about a half hour?
We'll be talking to Phil Booth from the Villanova Wildcats basketball team.
That's right. Phil Booth, 5-year Villanova Wildcat, played on both national championship teams, crushed my heart as a Carolina fan, hitting 2 big free throws in that national championship game. Has played in the most games ever for a Villanova player, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And has really just been a tremendous player for the program. And we'll talk to him at 4:30 about his time at Villanova, his time with Jay Wright, and then obviously the craziness that has been this tournament, which has, it wasn't a lot of upsets early. It's like the upsets started to kind of come late in this year's tournament. And I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought you'd have a few upsets early, and then everything would start chalking out the rest of the way. And so we'll talk about that with Phil later on. We have a lot to talk about there today, Jess, don't we?
No, we have a lot of things to talk about today.
Now, let's put it out there. Up until about 3 o'clock, we weren't sure if I was going to be here.
Rob was going to ditch us.
No, listen, if you think what I was doing was ditching you, you're out of your mind. I was sitting in a wonderful room in Gloucester County on jury duty. And I had zero idea how long it was going to be. It seemed like it was never going to end. And then God came down from heaven at 3 o'clock and blessed me and got me out in time so that we could come here and do this show today. So, Jess, because I know Jess, listen, Jess is always prepped. She's always ready to go. But when there was the slight possibility that it was going to be her, Jess went all out.
I went over the top.
So I want Jess to actually do the rundown today. I'm just going to sit back and listen, and I'm going to go with it from there.
No. So we'll talk, as we said, a little bit about March Madness. Final Four weekend's coming up. Obviously, the national championship game is coming up. When is it? Monday?
Monday.
So we will talk. I will not be watching that. I will be at the Phillies game.
It'll be like around 10 o'clock at night. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about that. How busted or not busted mine, Patrick, and Rob's brackets have been.
Winning.
Yeah, it's terrible. So then, obviously, as we talked about, we'll talk with Phil Booth about 4:30. And then we'll do a little bit of Eagles talk. They've made a couple moves, done a couple things since the last time we've been on.
Why don't somebody give me credit? Why
would we give you credit?
Are you kidding me? I have been saying that this
I wanted to trade for Jordan Howard last season.
So did I.
All right, so why do we have to only give you credit? I was the first
one that brought it up, and then you just piggybacked off of that.
I don't know if I agree with that.
We need to go back and listen. I know I did.
Doing that. That's a lot of things to
I thought
listen to.
So.
That's too much.
It's because you know you're wrong.
Sorry. Did you not hear what we talk about in the intro? Did you not hear the two things that I say in the intro?
You can self-proclaim yourself the best,
I am the best.
and being right all you want. But when you
usually right.
self-proclaim it, it means nothing to me.
Well, I've gotten Joe to admit to it a couple times. And if Joe admits that I'm always right, I feel like that reluctancy to do so.
Significant others,
no. But why would significant others ever do that and give you that satisfaction?
Because sometimes you just don't want the hassle.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, well, you don't have to.
Anyway, can I finish what I was doing,
What were you doing?
Giving the rundown of the show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Give the rundown.
So we'll talk about the Eagles a little bit. Patrick will have his now weekly segment of what's happening in Florida.
How many you got for us this week?
I only have one, but I'm thinking about looking up a couple.
Yeah, that might be my favorite segment of the show.
And then we will talk about the Sixers a little bit. Obviously not a great game the other night. They play again tonight. They have how many games left? I think 4. And then
I thought it was 5.
Maybe 5. I don't know. I wrote it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, after tonight. Yeah. So 5 including tonight. Trying to lock up the 3 seed. 50-win games, 50-win seasons for back-to-back. First time since the 80s.
Fire the coach, guys.
We'll talk about that a little bit as well. And then to close out the show, we'll spend the majority of our time talking about the Phillies, the start that they've gotten off to. We'll have a final score on today's game by that point. And we'll kind of talk about what's going on there. Yeah, no, not looking great. But hey, 4-0 in the first time since 1915.
Ho hum.
Let's go.
First time in 104 years.
Let's go.
No big deal. Oh my God, that's the grossest picture of Dirk Nowitzki I've ever seen.
Ew.
Everybody look at that.
It's brutal. You're not going to be able to see on there
because we're delayed.
YouTube's on and that's delayed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's ugly. Not great.
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
What?
Bases loaded, 1 out. Andrew McCutcheon up in the top of the 8th inning.
Hey, Cutch, don't screw this one up, okay?
So I'm gonna follow along here and see if I can give you.
I think Patrick's watching it.
I am.
You know what, Patrick?
But I think I'm on a little delay, so I think
why don't
you
might
just
be getting ruin it
before I do?
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
So where are we starting, Miss Wonderful Rundown?
Well, let's start with March Madness. So we have a good segue into our guest in 25-ish minutes. So okay.
25-ish.
Ish. All right. So my bracket sucks. How's everyone else?
It depends on which bracket you ask me, because I filled out 5.
You're the worst kind of person.
No. I have 4 or 5 friends that run.
Yeah, but and then you do them all differently.
You can't do them all the same.
I just can't keep track if I don't. I only did 2 this year.
I had 2 that had North Carolina as champions. They're obviously out. Yep. I had 1 with Duke as a champion. That is out.
Yep.
Oh, my other 2 are alive and well. Because in both of them, I had Virginia and Michigan State making it to the Final Four. 1, I had Michigan State winning the whole thing. 1, I had Virginia winning the whole thing. However, all I need in the bracket that I have Virginia winning the whole thing, all I need is Virginia to make the final game. If they do, I'm going to win that bracket because no one else had that. The other one, I need Michigan State to win the whole thing. So if Michigan State can win the whole thing by beating Virginia in the national championship, I'm going to end up with two bracket titles this year. So we know which way I'm rooting this weekend.
Yeah. See, I peaked when I was in like 5th grade because we do a pool.
In brackets or
in brackets,
life?
Not in life. Absolutely. You should have seen me when I was in 5th grade. Definitely not in life. We've upgraded since
that
then.
Was Jess's peak moment.
My peak moment for March Madness brackets was 5th and 6th grade. My office that I now work for does a bracket every year, but it's all the employees, friends, family, wives, kids, anybody who wants to do it. And I 2 years back to back, Joakim Noah and the Florida Gators brought me $250 each year for winning the bracket both times.
Billy Donovan's group.
It was up here, and I've just plummeted since then.
Wasn't that was Al Horford?
Yes.
Joakim Noah.
That guy. But he brought me money, so it's fine.
Was Corey Brewer with them?
I think so, yeah. I think it was Al Horford, Corey Brewer, Joakim Noah.
And there was one other guy who ended up going to the pros from that group. There was 4 guys that stuck it out for 2 years so that they could win back-to-back. And Patrick should have looked it up.
He's got it. But yeah, I peaked then, and this year I had Duke and Tennessee in my national championship game, and I just am a mess over here.
I love hearing you say, I peaked then.
I did. From a March Madness bracket standpoint, I 100%
better clarify that.
Peaked in 2005. All right? I guess it was 2006, because that was when they won the second.
And how old were you then?
12.
That's awesome.
maybe.
You were
But
born.
I mean, I was killing it. I
Hold on,
killed it for 2 years.
let's take it to this. What year were you born?
95.
Oh my God.
What?
95?
I was born in 95. Yeah. Patrick was born after me.
Yeah, but Patrick is in college. Like, I expect 95?
I was in college once too. What?
We all were. I don't know. That just seems like, oh. Patrick, what year were you?
97.
97.
Yeah.
Good God, man.
You're old. Really just announcing
Wait a
your
minute.
age to the world over there.
There's a... Oh! A double to deep center scores Herrera and Kingery, and the Phillies lead. And, it cleared the bases.
Oh, I was going to say, because it was 6-4,
The
so.
Phillies lead 7-6 in the top of the 8th.
Let's go.
They're not done yet, folks.
Let's go.
Look at that.
162-0. Here we come.
Aaron Nola could have his worst pitching performance as a pro.
Ever.
And they could still have a chance to win. And now there's only one out, one man on. And that means in 2 batters,
Mr. Harper.
it's Mr. Harper time.
Mr. Harper.
Oh, God, I can't wait to talk about the Phillies.
Wow.
Did I just say that?
That dodge, though.
What happened?
JT Real, or no, that's not.
That's
Real
not
Muto.
JT.
That's who's that?
Are you guys delayed?
Cesar?
Uh,
Is that Cesar?
What?
no, that's Kingery,
Segura.
isn't it? Or no?
It has to be Kingery. Someone's in
but
there
he
pinch
had a
hitting.
nice slide into the home.
Herrera, Kingery, and
No,
Franco scored.
Okay, so yeah, it was Kingery with that dodge then. Because there were 2 waiting for him.
Okay.
That was impressive.
Well.
Oh, it's under review.
Yeah.
What's on the review? Oh, he was safe.
Yeah,
I mean,
Regardless, it's 6-6 with 2 outs, right?
I'd say he's out.
You think he's out?
Yeah, so it should be 6-6.
All right. Well, either way.
Either way,
That's all right. That's better than 6-4.
it's better than 6-4.
That's what I like to, what I like to hear, you know?
All right, so Patrick, how about you, March Madness?
Friday was very tough. I lost 3 of my 4 Final Four teams.
Brutal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Carolina.
Yep.
Who else lost on Friday? I'm trying to think. It's funny, after the Carolina game, I was
Oh,
so
I think I printed
devastated.
out a bracket, so I know.
I was so devastated after Carolina lost. Look, we all know. I've said it on the show. Jess has given proof that I am
Seen
a
the basement.
true Carolina fan. I was, what's funny? I wasn't like, I was upset, but my God, Auburn just couldn't miss Friday night.
And then especially after that kid got hurt, they were closing out that game strong no matter what happened.
I mean, my God, they banked in 3 threes. Like
those were insane.
At one point, at some point, even like it's just a fan of the game, you got to step back and you got to go, okay, it's not Carolina's day.
Yeah.
They couldn't shoot. Nasir Little was sick. Cam Johnson was sick. Kobe White hurt his ankle. No excuses. They didn't play well, but Auburn
Played lights
was unreal. And then for Auburn to come in and do that again to Kentucky on Sunday was even better without Okichi or Cheeky. What was it? Ochiki? Or Okichi, whatever it was. The guy who scored 23 before getting injured.
He tore his ACL too.
And tearing his
That's a
ACL.
shame.
And they come out and they win and they go to the Final Four, first or second ever in Auburn history, right?
So
Or no, wait,
I think it's the first.
first for all. Yeah, Auburn and Texas Tech are both in their first ever. Virginia's only in like their second.
Yeah.
And then you have Michigan State who's been there multiple times.
Yeah, but so I had UNC, Tennessee, Florida State, and Duke in my Final Four, and Tennessee, Florida State, and UNC all lost on Friday.
Yeah, it was a rough night for you.
Yeah.
my Final Four were lost a lot earlier than that, so it's fine.
Your whole Final Four?
No, not all of them. Tennessee, Duke, UNC. I can't
And
look.
who else?
I had Marquette.
You had who?
Marquette.
In the what?
I know. What does it matter?
You
I wasn't the only one.
You really did peak.
I did.
in
I
fifth
peaked
grade.
really.
Good God.
No, I peaked a long time ago with this.
That's awesome.
I made $500 when I was literally 11 years old. So
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
doesn't really get much better than that, you know.
So it looks. I don't know if they're still in review, but
I don't know.
no, I don't think they are. It's 7-6, and you have a 1-2.
Yeah, they're not reviewing anymore. I guess they called them safe.
Yeah, they
Love
did.
that.
Yes, they did. And you got a
What a
1-2
time.
count on Segura with Big Touch. I firmly thank the Madness for all the success you've gotten out of Andrew McCutcheon, because I think his interview on here is what really propelled him.
Didn't he hit a home run in that last spring training game too?
I don't know.
After that?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the lead off the season.
No, that I did see. I was sitting in my desk and I was watching it and I was just like, what's going to happen here? Boom. And I was like, thank you.
A home run.
Thank you, Mr. McCutcheon.
I was there on Saturday, by the way, when Bryce sent his first one out.
Oh, that's nice.
We will have to discuss.
My dad and brothers were there also.
Why did you go?
I was working.
Oh.
Unfortunate.
What a shame.
That's
unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
What was I doing on Saturday? I was in New York on Saturday, so I didn't get to see.
Yes, can we? What brought that upon?
One of my friend Ryan, he lives in Brooklyn, and him and his girlfriend Jill have come down to visit Joe and I, 4 times to our, and that's another run-in.
Segura.
Hit a bloop single over shortstop, and then advanced a second on the throw to home.
And McCutcheon scores.
Yep.
So now
got some wheels.
We have a man on Oh, wait a minute. They walk Bryce Harper again to get the Reese. When are these teams going to learn?
Well, because Reese's batting average is horrible. He's got the grand slam, the hit earlier, and I think nothing else.
When they walked him before he hit that grand slam,
I thought that was stupid, but that
walked him to load the bases.
Yeah, I think that's dumb. But I mean, Rhys Hoskins, his batting average right now before today is 182.
That's okay.
Compared to Michael Franco's 545.
Listen, let me just say one thing.
Okay.
Don't get cute now and move Michael Franco. He's doing this because there's no pressure in the 8-hole. Keep him there.
I'm not gonna move him. Relax.
That's your boy.
Chill.
That's your favorite manager in baseball.
It has been 5 games, and you know what? They have not used the same lineup in 5 straight.
Yeah, what was the answer to this? I saw this
5
question.
straight games since July 7th through 11th, 2013.
2013. Okay, I wasn't sure what the answer
2013. Was. Gabe Kapler only used the same lineup 5 times all of last season.
Yeah, so he's
okay.
It's
learned. Fine. Everything is fine. Everyone can relax.
I just love. But
yes, so they came here a bunch of times over the last year, and we've only gone up to visit them once. So we owe them like 4.
And the game got rained out.
It didn't get rained out. We just left. So that's the thing. So she's from New York. Okay. She's from New York, so she's a Yankees fan.
Right.
He's from Delaware, so he grew up a Phillies fan.
Okay.
But obviously he lives up there now, and just, I mean, going to any baseball game is the stadium, the new experience. Any sporting event,
cool.
A new stadium, it's cool, fun.
Yeah.
And he got tickets through work, so all he had to pay were like the service charges. So he paid $2 a ticket. And we were like, oh, yeah, like that sounds like fun. We'll go. So we went up Saturday and we went to dinner and went out Saturday night. And then we went to the game on Sunday. And we went to get breakfast first. And then that's when it started to rain. And we were like, So we get there. But our seats were right on the, right beyond the left field foul pole. And we were the last row under cover. So we just sat there for a while and we were like, all right. But then it started to get chilly. The wind started to whip.
Yeah,
it wasn't. And they weren't giving any updates. They weren't even officially in a rain delay. So like they weren't telling you anything. We were getting no information. So we sat there for 2 hours and finally we were like, okay, so when do we call it? Because at the end of the day, like Joe and I still had to come home. We still had to drive home. We still had to go from the Bronx back to Brooklyn. Then get our stuff, go from Brooklyn to Manhattan on the subway, get on the train to Hamilton, New Jersey, and then drive
all the
back.
way.
So we still had a lot of travel to do. So at 2:30, we finally were like, you know what, we're going to call it. We went to get some Mexican for lunch, and the first pitch wasn't thrown until 4:20. So we would have sat there for 4 hours before the game even started.
And baseball's a long
Right. So we were just like,
game.
you know what, we'll make it work. You guys come down, we'll go see a Phillies game. They're actually good, and it'll be fun.
Threw a little salt on the Yankees there.
Yeah.
What about salt your way?
And I did wear my Madness sweatshirt.
And I saw that, and I thoroughly approved of that. I was very, very, very happy.
Because Joe and my dad told me I wasn't allowed to wear my Bryce Harper jersey. However, I did see somebody in a Phillies jersey. They were wearing a Rhys Hoskins jersey, and I was like, I should have worn it.
No, Joe and your father made the right decision there.
I know.
New Yorkers are psychotic. I have seen them do and say even worse things that happen in Philadelphia.
See, that's why Joe was like, because then it becomes my problem, and I don't want to.
Exactly.
He was like, I just don't feel like dealing with it. And I was like, yeah, all right. I guess I'll be nice.
Exactly. Just writing down a couple things for This Is Madness that are on my brain here. All right.
Okay.
So
what do you think about so getting back to basketball here,
yes.
the Final Four, what do you think is going to happen? Like, who you got? Well, I guess you got Michigan State.
Well, no, I mean, look, I would love it. I would love. I'm a huge Tom Izzo guy, and I have been just as a basketball coach. I love the way he coaches teams. I love how his teams are always competitive. He's always had the ability to take a team, even when no one is really giving him a lot of credit, and get them to go on a run. I love that he was able to get the monkey off his back. He's 1-11 against Coach K, and he was able to beat him in the Elite Eight. And he did it when, yes, he has one of the first team on in Cassius, his guard. But when you looked at Duke this year and you saw Zion and you saw R.J. Barrett and you heard about Cam Reddish and you heard about Trey Jones, you saw a team and you said, best coach to ever coach college basketball. All these All-Americans on it. I don't know how anyone beats them. And it's Tom Izzo who does it. And not only does he do it just, that's great in its own right, but it was the first round of this tournament where he had to deal with nonsense questions. Okay? And I don't know if we talked about this last week or not.
We didn't.
I think I wanted to, and then
I think we might have touched on it, but I don't know. Time got away.
Yeah. So obviously he was snapped on by many, many, many people, media and fans alike, for, in my opinion, I'm going to say it like this because this is what it is, holding a player accountable for mistakes made in the NCAA tournament at a Division I collegiate level. And he took a lot of heat for the way he was yelling at him. Somebody said, the minute he points in your face. No. Stop. Just stop. This is what we've talked about, me and you. Okay? This is the participation trophy era of sports. And it drives me insane. Don't tell me he's going over the top with coaching his team. And guess what? The next game, that kid had a career game. Because they understand.
Yeah.
And it's the outside world that affects some of these kids, and it's why you get such prima donna kids in high school who can't be yelled at. Tom Izzo should be lauded, not reprimanded for his actions. He knows how to get the best out of his players, and it's got them all the way to the Final Four, and it's got them in line for a really, really, really good chance, in my opinion, to be the national champions this year. I mean, they are playing with a chip on their shoulder. And I'm telling you, I really like what they bring to the table. So, nobody else? I'm going to drop the mic. Drop my phone.
No, I mean, we've talked about it several times before. We've talked about how kids, and I'm actually going to touch on this in a This Is Madness story about my lovely little sister, about kids these days just being different. But yeah, I mean,
You're really having a tough time getting this out.
I just don't understand. I mean, my dad has told me several different stories about, growing up, the different coaches he's had in high school and the things that happen. Like, he's had coaches walk in and you punch holes through blackboards.
I mean, they used to hit the players. I mean,
yeah.
I'm talking a long, long time ago.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean,
that's what it used to be.
It was a while ago, and he's told me stories of things that, are absolutely crossing the line and, absolutely would not be accepted today. But when it comes to somebody who is, some kids learn differently. Some kids don't learn the same way. But at the end of the day, when someone's yelling at you like that, you have two options, and it's either to curl in a ball and cower, or you step it up right then and there. And 99 times out of 100, an athlete is used to that. They're used to getting yelled at. Being yelled at lights a fire underneath them, because at the end of the day, you're going to get yelled at in a good way when you're doing things right. You're going to get yelled at in a more negative way when you're doing things wrong. But either way, it lights that fire underneath of you to keep doing what you need to do. And I just, people are just soft. I don't
Well,
know. I mean,
but see, what you said is, it's what athletes used to be like. And I commend the kids on Michigan State for standing with their coach, because a lot of the youth, even in college right now, would not.
Right.
They would have yelled at Tom. They would have said, "No, you can't do that. I mean, that's ridiculous. I can't believe it. You know, we're men."
But it also has to do with the way that kids these days and teenagers don't respect authority.
Yes.
They're raised not to respect authority, and they're raised to question authority. Now, in some cases, that's okay.
Yeah, but it's
in some
not
cases
most.
when it's creating a conversation, creating a discussion, you know, the children should be seen and not heard. That's not the way it is anymore.
But there's a difference between that and being told you're right, the adult's wrong.
There's a difference between respecting the fact that you are talking to an authority figure and creating a discussion for the purpose of gaining more knowledge, learning more, understanding more. But, you know, if your coach tells you that we're going to do, you know, a drill of some kind, and you go, why? Like, if I tell you to, like, stand on your head for the next 45 minutes, you should just say okay and do it, trusting that I'm the coach, I know what I'm talking about, I have the authority here, and I'm telling you to do something to make you better as an athlete. That is when they're like, I don't really feel like it. Yeah. Why? That is where I have a giant issue. And I don't understand why children these days act this way.
Because they're told to act that way. They're told that the coach doesn't know anything. They're told that that the coach doesn't know anything when they're not playing as much as mom and dad think they should be over on the sideline. They're told you're better than this kid and you're better than that kid because they want to compare situations rather than just play it out. There are guys that never get a minute on a Duke bench or a Michigan State bench or a North Carolina bench who are the greatest fans that you could have. And guess what? All they ever get to do is bust their ass at practice. They don't ever get to do anything else. Mm-hmm. But and I love Tom Izzo's answer to the question. If you make a mistake, I'm holding you accountable for it, especially in a game where it could end just like that. One loss, one mistake could end your season in the national, in the NCAA tournament.
Anybody that's, you know, leaving to declare for the draft, anyone who's a senior and graduating, that's it. That's it. So, you know, and granted, you know, it's nothing breaks my heart more, I think, than seeing how upset these players are once they lose in the tournament. I think that's the most gut-wrenching part of it.
Kind of like watch the Duke kids cry. That's just me.
All right, well, you're an ass.
No, I'm a Carolina fan.
You're also an ass.
No, it goes with the territory. You don't care about.
You're also an ass.
Nope. Negative.
But anyway, so I mean, I still feel for the kids that, you know, are, you know, just playing their freshman year and going to the NBA. I feel less bad for them than I do for the kids who have been there 4 years, have waited their turn. The one kid on UNC, I don't know any.
Kenny. Well, there was Luke May.
The white guy.
Luke May.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, but see, like, he's a guy.
Like that's stuff that he was there for 4 years. He was there when they won the national championship. He was there when they lost to Villanova. Like, he was there through it, and seeing him upset, like, that just breaks my heart.
Well, it's not even like that's a guy where, yeah, I'm upset for Luke May, but he felt what it was like to win a national title.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson, who came over from Pittsburgh, didn't necessarily get to feel that because he came over the year after. And then Kenny, I'm drawing a blank, but he was their defensive specialist this year. He was hurt the national championship season. He didn't get to play that much then. They're the guy. A couple years ago, when Carolina lost to Villanova, I felt so bad for guys like Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson because those two guys stayed for 4 years at that university, probably cost themselves some draft stock. At least in Bryce Johnson's case. Got to the national title game and then lose that way, you can't help but feel bad for him. But I'm only kidding when I say the Duke thing. I know what you're saying, Jess. Yeah, you do feel for these kids.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, they're kids. Mm-hmm. Most of them are kids. They're not 22-year-old adults, you know, all going to the NBA. Yeah. Some of these kids are 18 years old.
A lot of them aren't going to the NBA. So,
right.
You know.
And so I'm excited to see how I'm excited that someone different's going to win it this year. I'm excited that it's going to be a new team.
Well, that's what someone said to me.
I'm excited.
Someone said, I don't know about this Final Four is not even interested. I said, you got two teams who've never been, another team who hasn't been since the 80s, and you have a Tom Izzo who I know he's not Coach K but he's still Tom Izzo. He's still in the upper echelon of college coaches. And, look, I don't know a lot about Texas Tech. Even in the tournament, for some reason, I didn't watch many Texas Tech games. Mm-hmm. But damn it, they just keep winning.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a tough
I'm shocked
team.
UVA's going.
They're a tough team. I'm shocked, but at the same time, I said going in with UVA, this was a team that most of the guys that were there last year that lost to UMBC said,
a little upset.
We are not going to let this happen. This is the time we make up for that. Guys like Ty Jerome and Kyle, what's his last name? Guy?
Yeah, Guy.
Kyle Guy. Those guys were there. And Ty Jerome, I think it was Kyle Guy was interviewed after they won the Elite Eight game. And he said, we remember what last year felt like. It was time this year to make a statement. So am I surprised? Yeah. I think the bracket broke a little bit in their favor with their matchups.
Definitely.
Can I see your bracket? Because for some reason I'm like...
You don't want to look at my picks on the bracket, but here you go.
No, I would never look at the picks on your bracket. That would be stupid. Now, granted, Purdue, I mean, my God, the run Purdue went on after beating Villanova, and then they beat Tennessee. But that point guard, my God, I have not seen anything like that since Steph Curry.
Well, yeah, he was putting up numbers like Steph Curry.
I mean, it
was ridiculous.
It was on, what's it, Edwards? Was that his last name? Edwards?
Carson
Edwards. I mean, that guy, Jesus, I hope he can last till the 20s in the draft. Give the Sixers. My God.
His draft stock went through the roof.
Yeah, you ain't going to get him now.
I mean, we'll see. They might end up with the number 1 pick. Who knows?
Guess what? If you get the number 1 pick and you don't pick the most freakishly athletic human being I've ever seen, Zion Williamson does things. And this is me, right? I don't really compliment Duke often.
No, you don't.
He does things that you just go,
oh, my God.
Wow. Like, at one point, he made a move against Michigan State where he did a crossover into a fake half spin, back around, in for a finger roll layup. And I'm just like, you're 6'8", 240, dude. Like, you're not. It's not supposed to be humanly possible.
No.
Anyone that thinks, because there's that narrative now that Zion's not going to be a good pro, you're a jackass. You're a jackass if you believe that. You are the ultimate jackass. You should buy a jackass shirt from shop.prosportsnotes.com where you can buy all of our merchandise.
You should. You should buy all of the merchandise.
I'll put that out there. By the way,
you can buy things with my face on it. Buy it.
Talking about prosportsnotes.com, yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary of our mother company, our father company. What do we want to call it? Our parent company?
Parent, sister,
brother. Whatever the hell. But ProSportsNotes.com has turned.
That was a joke. It was a joke.
It was a joke to anyone listening from ProSportsNotes.com. We did not think that we are better than anyone.
I'm just kind of a jackass sometimes.
Just think she's better than everybody.
I really don't. I just thought that was kind of funny. We were going with the rest of the family tree. What happened?
I mean, I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't want it to.
What?
Kobe White declares for the Carolina Tar Heels lose both freshmen.
We're worried about the Phillies over here. I thought that something bad happened there. Oh, the Nationals scored a run. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
Yeah, but there's 2 outs.
What inning is it? Is it the 8th or 9th?
Why is the bullpen bit? We're not
Bottom
talking
of
about
the 8th.
Okay, we're not there yet.
The bullpen's driving me nuts.
But what were we talking about before? Oh, yes. So happy 1-year anniversary, prosportsnotes.com. Shout out to the time that I crashed the server twice in one day. On the first day because we weren't really all the way up and running yet.
And you decided to throw an article up there.
Well, it was when the Vikings fans were trying
selfish.
I mean, the Vikings fans were trying to get the NFL to punish the Eagles somehow
which, by the way, we have who's the new soft fan base in
all of them
in the NFL? No, there was another one.
Saints?
No, we know the Saints. Another one came out, and I was just like, oh, my God. And I can't remember
the Giants?
Nah, I can't remember now. They were so soft, they're not even memorable. What do you always say? Soft as what?
Softer than soft serve ice cream.
Yeah, it's a terrible line, but...
On a hot day. Wait, who is it? Now I'm upset.
Something tells me you were the king of dad jokes
Cowboys?
amongst your circles.
I just laugh really hard. My mom and I have a really stupid sense of humor, and we really laugh hard at dumb things, and you've seen it. It's a mess. I think things are very funny.
I can attest.
Patrick, a man of few words, but when he comes in,
Patrick knows.
He comes in with a zinger.
What fan base is it?
I'll have to go through.
Titans?
No, the Titans are dominating.
The Browns?
Raiders?
Raiders? Seahawks?
Jets?
Texans?
I mean, you could just name every team.
I'm working on it.
I just can't think
Panthers.
of it right now. Dude.
Colts.
Why are you yelling at me?
Ravens.
Stop yelling.
Steelers?
No, the Steelers' whole team is a joke. Okay.
Bengals. I'm out.
Enough of that conversation, because right now we have the pleasure of welcoming to the madness from the Villanova Wildcats, Phil Booth. Phil, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing great. It's a pleasure to talk to you. We've all watched you the last few years at Villanova and have loved every minute of it, man. And just tell us what the last couple years have meant to you at Villanova, and obviously being a part of 2 national championship teams. I think we lost.
Oh, no.
Phil, you there?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you're good. Sorry about
All
that.
right, now we got you back. So what I was starting to say was we've obviously admired your game from afar during your time at Villanova and part of 2 national championship teams. Just talk about what it meant to you to be a part of this Wildcat program over these last 5 years.
Just been very, very fortunate, very blessed. Been on some great teams, played with some great players, and a lot of great things came out of it. A couple championships and just a lot of great memories that I was just forgetting about these 5 years I've had there.
So let's go back to the 2016 national championship game. You scored a team high 20 points, and also really you hit 2 crucial free throws with 35 seconds left. As a sophomore, tell us a little bit about kind of what was going through your head, the emotions, how much pressure there was, and things like that.
You would think in that game you'd be feeling a lot of pressure because of, the fans and how many people in there. But once the game got going, it kind of felt like it was out there, just 10 people on the court. It didn't really feel like it was no pressure at all, really. It felt like kind of in the zone. You kind of were locked in. You didn't realize what was going on around you or just how many people were watching. Just kind of just zoned in and felt very comfortable out there. And my teammates gave me a lot of confidence throughout that game, and I didn't really feel the pressure really get to me.
Phil, you played in, I think, 148 games at Villanova. It's the most in Villanova history. Is that something that you'll always take pride in, that you were able to play in the most games in program history?
Considering all the great players that played at Villanova over the years, that's just a special honor to be in that mix. Such a great tradition at Villanova, and just fortunate to be on teams that made pretty deep runs in the tournament and played a lot of games.
So you dealt with some injury issues, your junior year and then your redshirt junior year. How did dealing with that sort of change your mindset and the way you attack the game going into a second national championship run?
It gave me a different perspective being on the sideline. I learned so much just watching what the guys were doing, just being on the side, and just missing the game. Really, it's probably the toughest years was sitting out and not be able to play, but when I came back, I just missed the game so much and was so happy and so excited to play and glad I was able to play the last 2 seasons.
Listen, you've got to play for one of the best college coaches in the game in Jay Wright. And, there's always rumors about Jay Wright every year that he's on this NBA team's wish list or that one. And I'm curious what you think, if he will ever actually make the jump. And if he does, how will his coaching style translate to the NBA game, do you think?
I don't know if he'll ever do it. I mean, he could, but I wouldn't know. He loves it here, but if the opportunity comes right, he could take it, but we never will know. I think he'll translate very well because he's a very personable coach. Coach is very open. Is very good with communication with his players. I think that will translate well to the next level. But I have no idea if he'll make the jump. I know he's happy here, but you never know.
So, this year, your 5th year on the team and, your 5th year with Villanova and, maybe didn't go exactly how you guys had hoped, but, what are some of your best memories, kind of from your last 5 years? Obviously, national championships in there, but, what are some things that you're really going to take with you and remember from playing at Villanova?
Just when the things got tough and how we were able to push through it. And, go through losing streaks, lose a couple of games here. People start to doubt you. You go through injuries, and you start to cherish every moment you have in the court together. Just those hardships that you pull through, with your teammates. Those are the more special ones, probably more than winning, because those are times when you really were challenged mentally and physically.
So you guys won the Big East tournament this year. Where do you think that the team could have gone if you also had Dante and Omari still on the team?
Who knows? We could still be playing for all I know. You never know how it went. Two guys like that coming back and the level they were playing at, and another year, another summer, getting better. It could have been a very different team, but it is what it is, and they made the best decision, I think. So, as you can see, just happened to be the year where the year went.
Talking with Phil Booth from the Villanova Wildcats men's basketball team. And Phil, obviously you're probably starting to think about your future now and getting ready for the draft. Have you, or do you plan on talking to any of your former teammates? And if so, what kind of advice are they giving you as to how to get yourself prepared for the combine and draft and all that stuff?
We talk all the time. We haven't talked about that part yet. We probably will get to it when the time comes near. But I was actually on the FaceTime with Jalen Brunson about a couple hours ago. But definitely when the time comes, I'll definitely have some questions. I'll definitely have good feedback and advice for me, because those guys have been through it, and so recent as last year. So I think they have a lot of knowledge.
So obviously, Final Four weekend's coming up, and the national championship of this year. Give me your take on what you think some of these teams can do. It's a new crop of teams kind of there this year. A couple teams that haven't been there in school history or haven't been there in a really long time. Who do you really see coming out of that to the national championship game, and what's your prediction for who's going to win this year?
It's tough. You got 4 different teams, but they all do a good job defensively. That's the one common factor they have. They're all good defensively. I really like Virginia. I like Virginia because they can defend, but this year they can score the ball easily too, with Jerome, Guy, and Hudson. So I think Virginia might be the team that I can see winning it all, but also can't count out Texas Tech because of the way they play defense, how they defend, and the good guard play they have. But on the other hand, you got Michigan State with Cassius Winston. So it'll be interesting to see how the battle of offense versus defense, because they're all good defensive teams, but who's going to be able to score?
Could you talk to us on the preparation for games going into the second round, the Elite Eight, and the national championship when you only have one day to prepare for each game?
Yeah, you win one game, and then the next day you're going to be playing. Next 2 days later, you're going to be playing again, and it's tough because the next team you play is going to be even better than the team you just beat. So you only have one day to prepare for a lot better team, probably a team you've never watched all year or never seen before and not familiar with. And it can be tough, but the more you can get locked in and watch film and watch film on the teams, all you can do, because you practicing in between isn't really going to do you much, but more you can watch and get visions of the team and kind of see what they do best and how to prepare for them is probably the best thing to do.
Phil, obviously we were talking about Michigan State and Tom Izzo, another guy who has just been a tremendous coach at the collegiate level. He kind of found himself under fire after the first round of the tournament. With what a lot of people looked at was berating a player. You've played at this level. You play for a guy like Jay Wright. What's your feeling on that whole thing? Was it overblown, and was Izzo just doing what coaches do to hold their players accountable? How did you feel about that?
I thought it was blown a little bit out of proportion. I mean, it's very common nowadays. And we also don't know the relationship between the player and the coach. The player didn't seem to have a problem with it. And a lot of coaches and players respond well and effective to that type of coaching. When guys have a relationship like that, a coach can yell at him like that, and they can kind of understand and get along. The dude didn't seem to be surprised that he yelled at him like that. I've seen him do that for quite some years. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. It's a part of the collegiate level. Just when the games then get intense and heat a moment. So it's kind of how it goes.
Well, listen, Phil Booth, we have loved watching you at Villanova here locally, and can't wait to see what you do with the future in the NBA. And I wish you the best of luck with everything. And maybe we'll talk to you again down the line.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
All right, Phil Booth, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one, Phil.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Phil Booth from Villanova. Okay, 5-year player, played the most games, giving us a little bit of insight what this time of year is like for these guys, what it was like to be a part. I mean, you think about it from this standpoint. And, Patrick, you go there. So, I mean, you're kind of surrounded by this all the time. This team won 2 national titles in 3 years. And before that hadn't won since the 80s.
1985.
1985, right? What has happened in the time that Phil Booth has been there is really very unprecedented for college basketball. Very small school in regards to the college basketball family, shall we say. And not only that, they're in it every year. I mean, even this year, I know they went out in the second round, but look, they ran into a buzzsaw that was seconds away from going to the Final Four if it wasn't for an unbelievable tap-in by at the end of regulation. But man, I mean, just to be a part of that, and I can only imagine the experience he's gained in just his years here that could help him maybe latch on to a team at the next level.
Well, think about some of the players that, I mean, a guy like Dante DiVincenzo doesn't play in the NBA if he doesn't win a national championship with Villanova. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, that's nothing against Dante DiVincenzo. I think he's great. But, like, that doesn't typically happen, Sometimes a guy like that, or even sometimes like your Jalen Brunsons, they don't typically make it not only to the next level, but have success up there. And, I mean, obviously we saw Jalen Brunson have a hell of a lot of success the other night.
I went to bed.
I fell asleep in the middle of the game, quite honestly. I fell asleep on the couch, and they were winning, and I woke up and was like, what in the world is going on right now?
This is how it went for me. I was exhausted, and I stayed up. I went down the basement. I fell asleep 2 minutes into the game. Woke up at the end of the first quarter. They were up 6, 5, whatever it was. I'm sitting there. I watched the first couple minutes of the second quarter. Fall asleep. I wake up at halftime, and they're down 18. I went, well, it is now bedtime. This was I expected them to lose. I expected it to be ugly. I don't know if I expect it to be that ugly. Do you guys have another guest calling in?
No.
That you got?
I don't.
Okay. I don't.
Because the phone just kept ringing, and I was curious. But
I don't.
As I've told you in the past, I'm super afraid to just answer it.
Yeah, I wouldn't just answer it. But one of the cool things about what?
Phillies gave up the lead. We're now going to the bottom of the ninth, tied at 8.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that.
So when obviously talking about Nova and the run that they've had in the time that Phil Booth's been there, the 2 national championships. So just kind of interesting story. I went to high school with a kid by the name of Bobby Taggart, and he was a freshman when I was a senior, and when he was in 8th grade, he was diagnosed with bone cancer. And he was a baseball player. He played, actually, Andrew played basketball with him in middle school. Super sweet kid. But he was, he was in remission, and then it came back. It was, awful. And he was really involved with the Villanova basketball team. And Villanova was his favorite school. He was always, at practices, and had a really good relationship with Jay Wright, who always texted his parents to check in on him, see how he was doing. And Bobby actually passed away November of the year that they won.
Okay.
And he, when it happened, Jay Wright was at his funeral. It was one of the saddest things ever. Especially Bobby has a twin brother, John. So it was just super sad, and it was a couple months shy of their 18th birthday, and so it was a lot of different things. The players had talked about and reached out to his family, saying, whatever we do this season is in honor of Bobby, dedicated to Bobby. And a lot of people at GA, there were several different events, and it was called Team Taggart was the foundation for Bobby, and a lot of different tweets and stuff flying around as they're coming into the national championship game. And it was a really emotional moment when they hit that last shot, because it was kind of like they had said, and even before the championship game, reached out to his family.
Didn't they do a story on ESPN about this?
They might have. I don't know. But, it was one of those things that, that shot went in, and I just burst into tears because, it was then an extra little guardian angel was kind of there for them for that one, which is so, that's one of those things that every time I think about Villanova basketball, that's what I think of, because and
that's who they've become. that they weren't just a team playing basketball. They were a team for a community. And that starts with Jay Wright. And that's what Phil was kind of talking about, was how personable of a coach he is. And it's not just to his players. It's to anybody. It's to everybody. It's, you look at who the Big Five was as college basketball. You look at the coaches and the Phil Martellis, the Fran Dunphys, the Jay Wrights. These guys care about their communities. And it resonates and it goes down to their players. It falls down to, it almost waterfalls down to them.
Right. And
they become the same kind of way. And I think all these guys, Phil, and you go back to Jalen and you go to Josh Hart and obviously
Mikal.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges. And I'm thinking, oh, God, why can't I think of his name? It's going to drive me nuts. He hit the game winner. What the hell's his name?
Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, Jenkins, my guy. Why? Because Chris. Now you know the story of Chris Jenkins, and at the time, who was it on Carolina that they were kind of like brothers.
Yeah.
But they care about the community, and it's why they're so easy to root for.
Yeah. It's
why it's so easy to pull for them in games because of just the type of people they are. And I think that goes to who Jay Wright is and the program that he has built over his time at Villanova.
Yeah, and it was one of those things that, and I was sitting there thinking, like, am I the only one that is, like, getting emotional over this? And then I opened Twitter, and it was, like, just slew and slew of people from GA that were like, oh my God, that only happened, not only happened, but, had that little extra thing. I mean, and I agree. That's exactly, kind of what Nova is. And it's the people, like, it's why guys like Phil Booth stay there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what, listen, if you look at the teams that are in the Final Four this year, okay, the Michigan States, the Virginias, the Texas Techs, why am I drawing a blank? We just talked about it. Let me look right in front of me.
What are you trying to do?
Auburn's. You got a lot of guys that are not just one and done type of guys, okay? And they want to stay because of the camaraderie, but it also it equals success on the court too. These programs where the guys are actually staying 2, 3 years, even 4 years, tend to be successful in March.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every now and again, Cal can win one with all his freshmen. Coach K can win one with his freshmen. But there was a stat where someone put all these big-time names that went in the top 10 from Duke over the last few years. And it's amounted to 0 national championships. And it's amounted to 0. I mean, maybe they had some sort of connection, but not the connections that these guys stay on campus for 4 years have. And that's a commendable thing. And I think it is for Phil Booth. And I really hope, he seems like a great, great kid. And I hope for nothing but the best from him. I really hope to see him latch on with somebody and see him playing next year in the NBA.
I hope so. I hope so. We'll see.
We shall see. All right. The Madness brought to you by ProSportsNotes.com, powered by WildfireRadio.com.
Yes.
Fridays 9 to 11, WildfireRadio.com. You can catch us on iTunes. Search The Madness with Rob Lange. We're live on the Pro Sports Notes channel on YouTube every Wednesday while we are recording the show for podcast. We are live, but you can also check out any show that you miss on YouTube as well.
Yes.
Shop.prosportsnotes.com.
The Phillies one's almost ready.
The Phillies one is almost ready.
It's almost ready. It's just a lot because with images, they have to make sure that they're doctored and changed so that we don't get sued for copyright stuff.
Oh, boy. 2 men on, nobody. David Robertson stinks.
Okay.
Guy has been terrible. He doesn't really stink. I'm just mad.
Rob's upset.
So
football?
Wow. Yeah, but before we do, can I get out all of our plugs?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
This is episode 80. Okay?
True.
Happy 1 year to Pro Sport. Saw that coming.
Jesus.
Got a little, I don't even know.
A little tickle?
A little tickle.
A little tickle.
A little tickle.
Yeah, all right?
A little tickle. I'm good.
All right,
ProSportsNotes.com. Happy 1 year. Jess.
Yeah.
Do you want to put out there something that we are starting to plan?
Yes.
But haven't. We will have a set plan hopefully within the next week because we want to get this set now.
I will get it set within the next week.
Might just be in this room right here.
It's not going to be in this room. Oh no.
Ball game?
No. Our streaming. Okay, we're back up and running. It's all fine. Everything seems fine. Let's hope it stays fine. Yeah, it just jumped there a little bit. That was weird. Okay.
All right.
Anyway, we are going to have a draft party. It will be somewhere in the South Philly region, as in either possibly Xfinity, maybe just tailgating the draft. Who knows? We have no firm decisions as of yet. However, it's going to be a thing. People should be there wearing Madness apparel. Maybe we'll do like a Madness apparel giveaway of some kind. We'll do lots of fun things.
We will.
We'll drink beverages. We'll watch the draft.
Drink adult beverages.
We'll have a good time. Only if you're 21, though, you can drink adult beverages.
Yes, we're not getting
We're not
thrown out.
not doing those kinds of things. But it'll be fun. And it's going to be a big party. Bring all your friends.
Yes.
And we're going to have a great time.
And like
and
we
we're all
said,
going to embrace the madness.
As we get the information, we will give the information to you. And
we'll have a set plan by our episode next week.
Yeah,
that is a guarantee.
And we'll have a lot of fun with it. It'll be enjoyable. So we'll see how that goes.
Anyone that was like us and couldn't get tickets to the actual draft watch party at the link that went out in like 8 minutes.
Yeah, what it is
because they're free. They're first come first serve. So all you have to do is click.
But from what
purchase.
I heard, I mean, you went to the draft party last year.
I was a media member.
I know, but is it that extravagant that it should sell out that quickly?
There are just 1 million people there. That's all. Anyway.
All right.
Patrick, would you like to share with us your thing about Florida now before we move to our next one? Oh, okay. We're going to move shortly to our Florida segment.
You said you still want me to play what you said, right?
Yeah, I do.
Is there a specific tune?
Just pick one. So it's in the background.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the... Okay, let's see. Oh, I turned my mic off.
Don't do that.
Let's see.
But anyway, we'll join you shortly with another installment of what's happening this week in Florida.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. This story came out just a couple minutes ago.
Yes! Yes!
Well, actually, a couple hours ago. But
all right, that works. That's still cool.
Fine.
Florida couple says, "I do," then rolls in the mud. The bride wore a white bikini and a matching veil, and the groom wore shirtless and white denim overalls, wore denim overalls. They exchanged their vows on the bed of a pickup truck. After saying "I do," the groom carried the bride and set her down in the mud, and then he took a dip, joining her for the post-wedding roll in the muck.
This sounds like a terrible country song. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the theme to a really bad country song with a banjo.
What?
And let me tell you.
There had to be a banjo.
Let me tell you. That's a classy couple you got right there.
Ooh.
There is
bikini with a veil. Can't beat it.
With no shirt and overalls. Let's talk.
There's a photo.
Yeah,
there's a photo.
Oh, there they are. That right there is a classy couple.
That's magical.
It's magical.
God
bless you,
we might have to put
Florida.
that picture out on our social media later.
Yeah, we're gonna get that out.
I'm gonna need you to take a screenshot
I'm gonna need
of
you
that.
to send that to everybody so we can get it out on all the social medias. All right.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And then I saw this one yesterday. There's a Kickstart for a game similar to Cards Against Humanity called Florida Man. So it's like Cards Against Humanity where there's white cards where there's words and then a blank, and then you play other cards that fill in the blanks. So they just had pictures of possible combinations. So here's one of them. A Florida man breaks into a home, steals diaper-wearing monkey, poops on all their nuggets, and then falls asleep on high five.
Poops on all their nuggets as in the chicken nugget?
It's in quotes, so I don't really know what that's from.
I'm confused by that one.
Florida man proudly claims his first man. He's the first man ever to name cat named Gary. His buddies Monkey Mondays on video clicks. That's one that's not really that good. But I feel like if you played that game, you could
it could be
muster
enjoyable.
up some good combinations.
The Phillies lost, by the way.
Yeah, I figured that when the bases were loaded with no outs that was coming. No 162-0.
161-1. Here we come.
That's
Those
what
were
it's
good.
going to be.
I enjoyed those.
Wait a minute. Before we finish, though, I'm trying to find you got to read the one I sent to you.
Oh,
That has to be out there, and I can't find it right now, and this is upsetting me.
I get to it.
Because this one, if this one isn't Florida Psycho, I don't know what is. And Jess, I think I sent it to you too.
I was gonna say, did you? Because I could find it if you had. If you sent a screenshot of it to me, right?
No, I'm pretty sure I tweeted
He
it,
tagged us in it.
and I tagged both of you, and now I can't find it literally anywhere, and it's going to upset me. But I'm going to find the story because I don't even care that it's probably damn near inappropriate. Florida,
They all are. Like what?
I mean, this is right now we're a music station
Yes.
listening to Jimmy Buffett. By
Jimmy
the way,
Buffett is
All right, here we go.
fantastic. You find it?
Yeah.
Great.
Florida man caught having sex with alligator, kept tied to his backyard.
That's what it was.
kept tied to his backyard. Now, here's the crazy thing, right? This story's from when? What was the date of that?
July 16th, 2015.
That was 15. In 2018, a Florida man was arrested for tranquilizing and raping alligators. This is not just a one-time occurrence in Florida. Is raping alligators really where
boy.
we have to go to
We've taken a
in this
turn.
world? I'm just curious. What is? I need to know. Look, listen. Okay, we're gonna go here. We are gonna go here. I don't even know what the hell's. Oh, that's an ad.
I need another Jimmy Buffett song.
I know.
Continue.
Hang on. What song did I just play?
You played Margaritaville.
I gotta find a better one.
How do you play Fins?
Can I play what?
Fins.
Fins is a song?
Oh my God, you uncultured swine.
I'm not uncultured. I just
You are.
could care less about Jimmy freaking
Oh my God, don't.
Buffett.
How dare
Oh, I know Fins.
you. There it is.
I should have known by its name. Anyway,
Big Jimmy Buffett fan.
yeah, I could tell. Jesus. Listen, gentlemen out there, especially you gentlemen in Florida who listen in to us. I understand that single men go through droughts. I get it. Right? We all have a bad period of time
I'm just listening to Jimmy now.
in our life. But there is no time bad enough, ladies and gentlemen, or just gentlemen in this. Maybe it's ladies too. I don't know. But there is no time bad enough where we should be sexually assaulting an alligator to get our fix.
I think it's funny how there's also a picture of a sign posted that said, "Danger, do not feed or molest."
Yeah, right. There has to be that sign. Do we need that sign here? There's a lot of what's out here. Rabbits. I mean, what do we have? Birds. Do we need a sign that says "Do not feed or molest rabbits"? No. What the hell are you doing molesting an alligator? Jess, you can ignore this all you want. You hear everything that's being said, and you want to laugh,
I'm so
but you're ignoring.
hardly focused in on Jimmy that I'm not listening to a word.
Gentlemen, droughts are not that bad. Stop
Dancing to Fins.
making love with alligators forcefully.
Now you turn Jimmy off.
Yes, because I wanted you to hear that line.
I'm upset.
All right, that is another installment of
This week in Florida.
in Florida.
Love it.
Okay,
Eagles
Eagles.
and the AAF that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that. I mean, to me, you set that whole league up for failure.
Didn't they have to like get somebody to buy them out of it earlier already one time?
Well, he was the one. The
like
guy
2
who
weeks
bought
into
him out of it is the one who shut down the league. He was just like, "Nah, we're done."
Eh, eh.
I mean, he lost, I think, $70 million.
Yeah, it was like 70 mil.
Yeah.
I wish I had 70 mil to just lose.
Well, we threw 250 million in. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane.
I wish I had 250 million to just throw in.
So go ahead. What do you want to talk about the Eagles? What did they do? They didn't do anything.
They signed a running back. Yay! Aren't you happy now? Can you chill now? Will you relax? Can you breathe? Will you sleep soundly at night?
Yeah, I'll sleep more soundly when people stop mocking cornerbacks to the Eagles.
Well, those people are idiots. I
Todd
just ignore
McShay.
them. He's an idiot.
2 of them
He's an idiot.
in the first 3 picks he got. He said they really need to bolster that cornerback depth. Look at it. I had to lower the mic because I knew I was going to yell really loud.
I appreciate that because I didn't want that in my ear.
Look at it, dude. Like, come on.
Honestly, what I also don't understand is people that were like bummed about trading a 6th round pick for Jordan Howard. That I didn't get even remotely a little bit. I didn't understand
Wait,
that at all.
You didn't understand people getting mad about it?
Yeah, people upset about it.
I'll tell you why. Because they are the same people that can't.
Boy, here it is.
They're the people that can't get it through their tiny little freaking brains that Le'Veon Bell wasn't coming, that Tevin Coleman didn't come.
Because they had this. He literally, Jordan Howard said the other day.
It's been for a month.
It's been for a month. He knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, which means the Eagles were never actually in on Tevin Coleman because they knew they could get Jordan Howard for a 6th round pick, pay him $2 million this year, and not have to worry about paying Tevin freaking Coleman $8 million total.
This is the one fault in the Philadelphia fan. This is the one major one in all of them that goes across all the fan bases.
Yeah.
And it's called the tunnel vision syndrome. They get tunneled in on the one guy they want, and nothing else is good enough. And not only that, what they do is then they start trying to bring other players down. Like, his yards per carry's been down. I would love to know what Tevin Coleman's yard per carry was, because I can tell you, I don't think it was great.
And let's talk about whatever the hell it was if you give Devontae Freeman healthy legs.
Yes. Yes.
Stop it. You are stupid. Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
Or the people, look, I wanted Mark Ingram really bad, but damn it, I will take Jordan Howard.
I didn't want to pay Mark Ingram. Would it have been a bad contract to have? No. But did I really want to pay Mark Ingram $5 million a year? Not really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would have been okay with it. I would have.
I'm not paying him.
I would have been okay with it.
But you understand.
However,
I would have been okay with it, but if this is the alternative.
Yes. However, Jess, I know you said it too, but
I was in agreement with you.
But I have been pounding the table.
You have.
For Jordan Howard. This kid has 2,000-yard seasons and a 900-yard season under his belt.
The 900-yard season, he was essentially the backup quarterback. Or backup running back.
Wow, if he did that as a backup quarterback, that would be even more impressive.
Even better.
But I understand that things have been trending downward, but how many times have you seen a guy go into a new situation and it ticks back upwards? This is a perfect scenario.
With Garrett Blunt.
This is a perfect scenario, though, because he's your first and second down back. And guess what he can do? He can pass block as well as any running back in the league. What was one of the issues when Wentz was in there last year? The running backs couldn't pass block. Corey Clement wasn't very good at it. Wendell Smallwood, I don't know who he is. I mean, this is what you need. And now you put a Jordan Howard with a Corey Clement and then maybe another running back. And notice how I'm not giving that other running back a name yet. Does Darren Sproles come back? I don't know. I don't believe
he will make his decision.
Yeah, I don't believe Wendell Smallwood. Well, but you want to know why? Because he wants to see what happens in the draft. If the Eagles draft another running back, there's no reason for him to come back.
Yeah, he's not going to compete for a spot.
But in my opinion, the Eagles are not done adding to the running back position. I do expect them to draft one. The only way I know that this is now the big talk, because he has formally requested a trade, the only way you're trading for Duke Johnson, and I like it. I like him and Jordan as a 1-2 punch because they both do things different and they both do what they do very well. Duke is really good out of the backfield. Jordan is very good on first and second down and getting the ball through the line. The only way they do that, the only way they trade again, is if it's another low pick, like a 6 or a 7, where they could give up one of this year's where it doesn't matter. Since this one's not till next year, and the reason they were okay with that is the comp pick game. They have so many comp picks coming their way next year. They were okay giving this one that most likely will be a 5th-round pickup. I know it's only a 6th-round pick now, but it can become a 5th, and I'm assuming it will as long as he stays healthy, which is the other thing. We haven't had a durable running back in how long? Jordan Howard hasn't missed a game.
Law of averages.
Shut up. Man, why would you say law of averages to me? Why? Why?
Because you're the idiot who just said out loud.
You're the idiot who said law of averages. You're the idiot.
You're the idiot who said it first.
Yeah, jackass.
No, that's you.
Well, I remember I did want to call you one today just because of the song and everything else. So,
Oh, yeah. Braden was like, I want you guys to sound nice. Like, I asked him, I was like, make sure you get jackass in there. And he was like, how do I put it in there without it making it sound like Rob's calling you one? And I was like, it's fine. We'll get it.
Guess what, Braden? Sometimes I have to let Jess know that she says jackassery things.
Typically wrong, but it's fine.
Patrick, who's typically wrong? Patrick's not choosing because he doesn't want to make you feel bad, Jess. But no, I love the move. I think it's a very strong move because now it puts you even more in the driver's seat to go into the draft and draft best player available. Yes, I still believe you need a linebacker early in this draft. However, I think, and I will continue to say this, the Eagles will take the best player available, most likely on either defensive or offensive line. My assumption is that if the guy they want from the defensive line isn't there, they're not going to take an offensive lineman because there's really not that many grading out at the end of the first round. So in that case, what do? Maybe they go safety there. Okay, maybe they go linebacker if somebody they love falls to them. But they're not just going to pick a corner.
You draft, I think I've said this to you before. You draft the best player available when your team sucks and you don't have any good players at all. You draft the best player available when you have picks 1 through 10. And you're there because your team sucks.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I know you don't like when I disagree with you.
Just shut up and let me finish. How about we start there? When you're at pick number 25 with a team that's as well-rounded as the Eagles, that's as complete as the Eagles, that they could use things here and there, but there's not, especially now based on what they've done in the offseason, there's no giant holes where you're like, oh my God, we need to pick this or it's a complete bust. They need to pick where they need. So they're not just going to take a corner if that's the best player there. And that's what these, people doing the mock drafts are saying. They're just going by the best player they think is going to be available at that number. And I think that's what's different between the people who pick from, 20 to 32. They're not picking just the best player available anymore. If the best player available happens to be the player in the spot that they need, okay. But for the Eagles, they're not taking a corner because regardless if it's the best player there, it's not what they need. Like you said, it's going to be somebody on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, it's probably going to be a defensive lineman, a linebacker, maybe a safety. They're not taking another corner there.
Here's where I disagree with you. I know what you're trying to say, and I agree with you from the Eagles standpoint. But what I don't agree with is the Eagles are going to take the best player available, but they're going to take the best player available at a position that they value over another position.
That's literally what I just said.
No, but they're not drafting for need.
That's literally what I just said.
But you're saying the teams of 1 to 10 are drafting best player available. No, they're not. They're drafting for need. The Arizona Cardinals they're going to draft Kyler Murray, not because he's the best player in this draft, because they feel they need a quarterback. Okay? The New York Giants may force a quarterback that shouldn't be getting drafted at that number 6 spot or wherever it is that they're drafting. Okay,
sure,
because they
but
need a quarterback.
What I'm saying is if that's the lineup of it, okay, so but would you put Kyler Murray in the top 10?
Top 10? Yeah, but not 1.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. People in top 10, yes, they draft based on need, but they're also going for the best player they can get. Because here's the thing, those teams down there have several needs. So they're going to go best player they can get. That they think is going to help them. What I'm saying is, the picks later where the Eagles fell last year, where they're falling this year, where they're going to fall again next year, is they're not just going to take the best player out there anymore. It's going to be maybe a guy like, for example, like when they took Dallas Goedert. Granted, that was in the second round, and I know that, but things like that.
But see, we're best play like the definition.
I see what you're saying. I see where.
Yeah, no, like here's my thing. Like these guys trying over. They look at they go to the stats. They go, okay, the Eagles had one of the worst pass defense in the league last year. Obviously, they're going to draft corner. They're not doing their job because they're not looking that there's 7 corners on the roster, and a couple of those injuries have really played a role last year. But the Eagles are going to go best player available according to their board. What I'm saying is a corner is not going to be a best player available on their board outside of,
agreed.
They might put a guy that's a top 10 corner to, if he falls, then it's one thing, right?
Right.
But they're going to go with the best. They're going to look at their board, and whoever is left at the top spot, no matter position, I understand that. But what I'm saying is I don't see them having a ton of corners at the top of their board where they're going, That's who we need to get in the first round.
Can we talk about how the Phillies game ended for a second?
How'd it end?
They literally walked a batter home.
The walk-off. Literally. The literal walk-off.
That's a goddamn shame. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, they can't win them all, guys. Would have been damn impressive to win 162 games. So, listen, and I wanted the next couple shows. I mean, the draft is quickly approaching.
Yeah.
And the
Which
next
is why
few
we're
shows,
planning a party.
It is, and why we're hopefully we got to try and lock in our guests, Jess, that we can get this done. I'm actually going into to Wildfire this week, so I'm going to see if I can ruffle things some up here. Maybe we'll just do it a different day, but we'll figure it out. However, it has to work out. But I want to start talking more draft every episode. I want to bring guests on, guys that are covering the team, where they think the Eagles are going. I had a couple guys on last year during draft time that were great. I had this wonderful girl. Her name was Jessica Town on during draft time last year. Actually, the night of the draft was the first time ever that Jess showed up in this studio. And
see, it can also be a year of us being together, Rob. It can be a whole big celebration.
If I had lovey-dovey music right now, I'd play it.
Okay, well, let's not do that. But
no, why not?
I see what you're getting at.
Why not?
Don't do that.
Why not?
Because I said so.
She's so mean to me.
But yeah, that sounds good to me.
It's a love-hate relationship, I guess.
True.
True. All right, where are we going next?
Sixers, because they play tonight. I also wanted to look back. I haven't actually done it. I wanted to look back and yep, you're failing over there. I see it happening.
It's because was it?
I want. Come on. Nope, that's not what you wanted, was it?
No, it was. Why are we gonna talk about the Sixers?
I wanted to find where we tried to figure out how many games they were gonna win when you and I sucked at math.
Way back, yeah, when we couldn't figure out how to count.
Really hard. Okay. We had them losing to the Thunder. Did they beat the Thunder or did they lose to the Thunder?
They beat the Thunder.
Okay. They lost to the Warriors. That one was right. They lost to the Rockets. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Nets the other night, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost to the Mavs. We had that.
You're missing a few games.
This is just in our loss column.
Oh, just in our loss column. Yeah, and I tell you why we had that, because the time the Mavs were playing good, then they started to struggle. And then the Mavs had actually, people forget, the Mavs just beat Golden State not too long ago.
30.
By 30 in Golden State. So the Mavs have it in them to do this.
Okay.
So settle down, Philadelphia.
Okay, be quiet. So we had them beating the Magic, which did not happen. We had them beating the Bulls, which also did not happen. We had them beating the Pacers, which did. Beating the Cavs, which did. Beating the Kings, which did. Beating the Hornets, which did. Celtics, which did. At the Hawks, did not. At the Magic, they played the Magic. Oh, wait, no, they won that first Magic game.
Magic game they won.
First, because I was at that game. They lost at the Magic. Mm-hmm. They played the Thunder twice in there? Or once?
No, once.
Okay, so that's why we had the Thunder written down twice. That's why our math didn't make sense. Oh my God, we solved the case.
Correction. You had the Thunder written down.
I had the Thunder written down twice. And we didn't see it. And it was literally right next to each other.
Just censoring you. You've been
That
censored.
was probably you're not allowed to use that anymore because that was the worst possible usage ever.
You've been censored.
No, that doesn't make sense. You're supposed to do that while someone's talking to make it sound like they're censored. That was horrible.
You're now censored.
You are a jackass. Do not use that ever again.
I apologize for nothing.
I apologize
I'm
for
really
nothing.
going to start taking his phone like a child because I can't listen to that crap anymore.
No, you're not.
Oh.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay, please stop using that. That's super annoying. They beat the Timberwolves, and then they still have the Hawks, Bucks at Chicago, here against Chicago, and the Heat.
See, I'm really pissed that Jimmy's not playing tonight. Because
we don't know if Jimmy's not playing tonight yet.
This was ultimate revenge game time. This was ultimate revenge game time.
Why?
Because of the last game in Atlanta. That was annoying as all hell.
It's irrelevant.
You're irrelevant.
That's not true.
Sixers have waived Justin Patton.
Yeah, they're signing Greg Monroe tomorrow.
I know, but I was hoping they waived, like, Jonathan Simmons.
All right, we got 10 of those right out of... I don't know which one we had actually predicted. Did we think they were going to beat or lose to the Thunder? Because
We thought they were going to lose to Thunder because it was that night.
Which game?
And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you
we
why.
have one in the win column and one in the loss column, and
thought
I
they
don't
were-
know why.
We thought they were going to lose it because we knew that they were sitting Joel Embiid out that night, and then they ended up winning the game. But I know that we had that as a loss.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So, great. We got 11 right out of that have already happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
She can count everyone.
9, 10. We got 11 right out of 16. It's not bad.
And so what do we have in the remaining 5 games?
We have them winning all of them except losing to the Heat because they play in Miami.
So we have them winning the night.
They winning tonight against the Hawks.
Beating the Bucks.
Beating the Bucks.
But we had them losing to the Bucks earlier.
Yeah, we had them losing the one where they played in Milwaukee.
Yes.
So we have them beating the Hawks, which is in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a second night of back-to-back tomorrow for the Bucks game. Bucks at home, and then they play at Chicago, in Miami, and then
Home against Chicago.
Which I think our logic was the Heat might still have something to play for.
Which I think technically they do.
Yeah.
Not by a lot. But, you know, look, the thing that all comes into play here is when, you know, I need to pull up, Patrick, if you could pull up the NBA standings and how many games are up in that third seed, because that plays a role in all of that.
If they win tonight, I think they clinch.
They're up 3.5 over.
So if they win tonight, they'll be up 4 with 4 to play.
If they win tonight,
does Boston play tonight?
Did they lose the other night? Because that was something.
I know that Indiana won last night. And now I'm trying to... My phone's not working.
Boston plays tomorrow.
All right, so if they win tonight, they'd be up 4 with 4 to play. Okay? Which pretty much means their magic number's at 1. If those teams lose a game, if the Sixers win a game. So, listen, I think it's a tall order for them to win without Embiid and Butler. I do, if Butler doesn't play. I think it's a very tall order for them to win that game. If they found a way to do it, then I don't know if they're going to win those last 3 games. They're going to start sitting guys. Greg Monroe's going to start friggin' 3 games. Boban's going to play. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little bit different scenario once that 3 seed is locked up. They're not going to care what their win total is because that's not what it's about.
Right.
And I said to someone the other night, I said, I'm not overly concerned with this team. This was after the back-to-back losses to the Hawks and the Magic. And I said, I look at this team as, listen, last year they won 16 straight or whatever it was to get into the playoffs, right? And everybody talked about how hot they were and, excuse me, and all this stuff. And they got in, and yeah, they won the first round series, but then they got embarrassed in the second round. I think part of them is saying, we exerted a lot of energy to win those last 16.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're giving games away, but what I'm saying is they pretty much know that they're very close to solidifying this 3 seed.
Right.
And I think that's why you've had a couple of these slip-ups lately. These games aren't as important to them now because they're not just playing to get into the playoffs anymore. And whether people want to admit it or not, that's what they were playing for last year, was to get there for the first time. They know the grind that the playoffs are. They know that their starters are going to have to play 42 to 45 minutes a game, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
42 minutes a game if they want to win. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure in the back of their minds they're going, hey, let's just make sure we get the job done when we need to, but let's not kill ourselves out here. I'm telling you, this is the NBA. It's what these guys do. Golden State's been losing games lately. I mean, I think they won last night, but I mean, like we said, it was last
However,
week.
did you see the report that came out about Steph Curry today?
Which report?
He's had vision trouble his entire career and just now got contacts. So think about the way he's been shooting with vision trouble.
Why would he change that if really...
I hope the hell it screws up his whole equilibrium and he can't shoot anymore. That's not going to happen, but I'm just saying.
But like, think about the way...
really, it's just a touch thing. I don't know how much of it...
Yeah.
Like,
I just think it's funny that he's like, yeah, I've played my entire career with like not great vision. You're like, oh, fantastic, awesome, can't wait to see what happens when you see clearly. Jesus, but I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens, but I'm really, as crazy as it sounds, I'm not concerned. That doesn't mean that I'm saying
miracle in itself.
That doesn't mean that I'm saying that they're going to go tear it up in the playoffs. I don't know. A lot has to be shown to us in the playoffs. A lot has to be shown to us in the playoffs.
But it's also about, now, again, you know, I completely agree with what you're saying, but part of the reason, I mean, you have to also think about momentum going into the playoffs. They can't have, you know, they can't go into the playoffs on, you know, a 4-game losing streak.
No, but they went in on a 15-game winning streak last year, and what did it do? It got them to the second round.
Yeah, I understand that.
Where
but
they were just embarrassed.
Okay, but do you see my point?
I see your point, but all I'm saying is that
but you saw.
I don't know.
You also saw the way that Heat team was capable of playing when they played in Game 4, or was it Game 3?
Which one that they won?
Yeah,
they won Game 2.
Was it Game? Oh, it was Game 2. Oh, I can't keep track.
I understand, but what I mean
you know,
is,
as much as I crap all over the Heat, and still Goran Dragic sucks, but the rest of them have some talent, except for that guy named Kelly. I'll never get over that. But anyway. They still have Dwayne Wade. He still is vintage Dwayne Wade every now and then. The way that the team played, because keep in mind, didn't they play until Game 3 without Joel?
Yes.
So the way that they played going into that was a big reason why they won in the commanding way they did over the Heat. I don't know if they finished that. With the team they had last year and the way that they were exposed against Boston, I don't know if that first series, I still think they win the first series. I don't know if it goes the same exact way. Them not going in there, especially playing the first 2 games without Joel, especially, without that 15 or 16 or 17 game win streak, whatever it was. If they go into the playoffs this year with a losing streak in which they play the Hawks, the Bucks, the Heat, but also play the Bulls twice. If they lose to the Bulls, lose to the Heat, and then lose to the Bulls again going into playoffs, I don't like the way that sets them up unless they're resting their starters.
Which I think they're going to be doing.
I need them to intentionally rest their starters, though, and not have Tobias out there,
No, that's fine, but
But what I also don't like is the fact that they're doing it when we already know Joel Embiid does not have great conditioning as is.
That
fine. Concerns me.
I think in the NBA, momentum could get a little overvalued.
Sure.
And I mean that by you watched the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James turn it on when they had to. You've watched, what was it, 2 seasons ago? How about the season Golden State wins 72 regular season games? They lost in the finals. I just don't think it is that big of a deal. I understand your point, but I personally feel when the next 3 games somewhere, we're going to hear that the Sixers have locked up the 3 seed, whether it's through them winning or Boston and Indiana losing.
They have to win tonight.
So regardless, and once it does, the losses truly don't matter. But what I'm saying is the Dallas loss the other night and those 2 losses last week to Atlanta and Orlando don't matter to me.
Right.
Because they're still in the same position they were in prior to those losses because the other teams have lost. That's all I'm saying.
I absolutely agree. I just don't. I think when it comes to momentum, I'm not necessarily sure if the momentum itself gets overvalued or what the momentum can. It's the momentum itself, yes. But what I am thinking about is the momentum, the cohesiveness, and the attitude and what's the word I'm looking for? The attitude and feeling about the team as a whole and about the capabilities of the team. If they keep getting blown out by these crappy teams, you really think that they're all going to walk in there and be like, yeah, we got this? No, it doesn't help that. You know what I mean? Like, it
could have the opposite effect.
Sure.
Yo, step it the hell up. Let's see what the hell happens.
I gotcha.
We're tired of losing.
Yeah. But you hope that, but also you don't know.
Think about they lose those 2 games and they go in and play the Nets. And I know it got a little eerie late, but for the most part, they were up 16, 17 points on the Nets from the word go. Oh, by the way, that could be the first round opponent. It seemed very much to me like they were trying to make a statement like, hey, I know you guys think we're screwing around. We know what we got to do when it comes time. They have those guys that have played in the playoffs now.
All right.
So
let's stop on Sixers there so we have ample amount of time to talk about the Phillies.
Yay!
Okay.
Although they just lost, it really puts a damper on
They
the
just
mood.
lost, but if they have to give, if the only way they can lose games is if they physically hand them to the opponent, I'll live with that.
Will you now?
Yeah.
I know.
As long as they don't make a habit of it. Like make a nasty habit to the point where they hand like 95 games away.
95?
It was okay. It was a joke. Okay.
Good
let's
Lord,
relax.
95.
It was a little bit of sarcasm.
That's
but
a bit of hyperbole.
Let's relax. Chill over there, please. But yeah, I mean, as long as they don't make a habit of it, it's fine. But let's some things we can touch on here. Where are my stats? I got it. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, this is all before today's game. Michael Franco's batting average is 545. 545. How many times has this man been intentionally walked?
Just before we get started talking about it.
Okay.
Before, I just want to try and play something if it will actually play. I think it will be fun. Oh, this is his hole at bat? Good Lord.
You're killing me right now.
I'm trying to fast forward.
How's that going for you?
Oh, it's going well.
Great. Happy to hear it.
You're going to be happy in a minute.
I'm excited.
And then he went on to do it the next day and the next game. And he's got 3 already. And the celebrations are awesome. The bat flip last night gets a 9.5 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10 from me.
100% a 10 out of 10. You give that bat flip a 10 out of 10.
It was phenomenal. First time since 1915, the team started out 4-0. Now they lost today, so they are at 4-1. But still.
Did you see the thing that the last time they started 4-0, they went to the World Series?
Yes, in 1915. Yes, they did.
1915.
They were
what
in
a
the
time
World
to be
Series.
alive.
They actually started that season, I believe, 8-0. I heard somebody say the other day. But you couldn't have asked for a better start. With all of the talk and all of the pressure, they come out and stick it to the defending NL East champs and then beat the Nationals in Game 1 before losing today. It's just, I was smiling ear to ear because of the Philadelphia Phillies. It's exciting.
You know how excited I'm excited about baseball. I have never ever said those words in my life.
No, you've made it very clear to me in the past.
I'm not a person that can just sit and watch baseball games. Like, you put any football game on, I will watch no matter who's playing.
AAF?
No, any professional NFL football game you put on, I will watch. You put on any basketball, NBA game, I will watch. Even most college games, I'll sit and watch. You just put on any baseball game, I am taking a nap immediately. And I am excited about baseball. Like, I planned my evening last night around being on my couch in time for the Phillies game.
I went to the movies.
You're a traitor. Do you know how to spell traitor? Are you from?
I believe it's Traitor, but after watching the Nationals, they now spell it Tratior.
Tratior.
It's the Traitor.
Did you see
as they say
the jersey that somebody covered up the H and the P and made farter?
the juvenile jokes of the Washington D.C. crowd. Yeah, I went to the movies. Sorry.
What'd you see?
Captain Marvel.
How was it?
Outstanding.
Great.
Very good. Had to get ready because yesterday morning I waited in line on my phone for over an hour to purchase a ticket for Avengers Endgame. But the best news of the day was when I found out that it comes out on April 26th, right? Which is the Friday during my Easter vacation. So instead of battling crowds for a night movie, I will be seeing Endgame at 11 a.m. on Friday, April 26th by myself, and there's nothing sad about it.
Being hungover from our draft party, though.
That's fine. I am going to be in the theater eating all kinds of food. I can eat candy again at that point. It's going to be a great morning.
Why can't you eat candy?
Give it up.
Oh, Len.
Yeah, I tried.
Proud of you.
I've actually done it, too.
Proud of you.
I just have not given up all the other food that makes you overweight.
Yeah.
It's been a bad move by me. Bad move.
Increments.
Increments.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. I would also like to what I would like to talk about a little bit more is just how much like fun that this team has brought in already.
Yeah.
I think
they're
that's
enjoying themselves.
They are having between the things as little, so obviously there's celebrations after things, or the bat flips, they're great, which everyone who's trying to say that they need to be out of baseball, you're idiots and you deserve to be punched in the face. I love that the MLB has gotten behind them though, and did you see that? The MLB tweeted the video of Bryce Harper's bat flip with the hashtag let the kids play.
Oh, good for you,
so
MLB.
is jumping out in front of it.
The Nats GM, it came out and said if you hit the ball that far, you can do whatever you want with the bat.
There was somebody, I don't know if it was a player or the GM.
I think it was the manager.
It was
Rizzo?
It was Rizzo.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
And like that's the same thing. Like if a pitcher gets like a big strikeout,
but guess why
I don't mind getting excited.
Guess why he flipped the bat? Because the Washington Nationals fans booed him.
Are a bunch of jackasses.
Don't do that. You're wrong there. And it's hypocritical of Philly fans to go after people for booing former players that have come back in here after signing for bigger deals. We've done it too. And I've been saying this to people all week.
No, but I didn't say that. Here's
you hated Jason Worth.
I still hate Jason Worth. Here's my issue. They can't pick a narrative. So they just sound like a bunch of idiots because they want to be upset and boo him for taking a bigger contract, but then they want to chant that he's overrated. You don't get to have it both ways. You pick one and you stick with it.
They can have
it just makes you look stupid, except Bryce Harper.
I'm glad that they booed. I'm happy they booed. I think they should boo.
It got them really far.
That's fine. But what I've hated is Philly fans going, how dare them boo him after everything he gave them.
Yeah, no,
Stop.
I'm
just
not.
Don't all of a sudden become high and almighty.
So if you notice, I was heavily involved on Twitter last night throughout the game. I did not set foot in that region because I know it would be completely hypocritical.
I mean, Jason Worth, Terrell Owens. My God, we chanted OD at the friggin' guy when he came back.
I didn't touch that, but I was all over Nationals fans being morons. First of all, they don't know how to spell traitor. Let's start there.
Well, that was dumb.
Second of all,
give you that.
That's my point is pick one. You can't have it both ways. Don't be distraught that he left you, that you want to boo him so hard, and then try to chant that he's overrated when you were holding your breath hoping that he struck out. You and I both know they were booing, but in the back of their minds, they're going, oh, please, God. Oh, please, God, don't let him take advantage.
We do that.
So that's, right, but that's the thing. You can't have it both ways. It makes you look stupid. And then you're gonna leave in the 6th inning, too, and look like a bunch of cowards.
It was cold and rainy, and their team was getting their asses kicked. I know if that was in Philly and the Phillies were getting their asses kicked, my ass would have been out of that stadium.
But anyway, I also just think that, so between, their celebrations, the bat flips, how excited they are, little things like the wave at second base is my favorite thing ever.
I know, you really like that, don't you?
I just think it's so funny. But my favorite part is they're going to have the entirety of Citizens Bank Park doing it with them. So it's going to happen where they're going to hit a double, someone's going to get second base, and the entire fan base that is in Citizens Bank Park is going to be waving like this, and it's going to be magical. But also things like, think about how excited the crowd got the other night with Jake Arrieta's at bat. Mm-hmm. He took 9 pitches.
Reminded you of the Brett Myers at bat in the NLDS back in 08.
But this was game 3 of the season. So it's just stuff like that.
Well, no, the excitement is definitely back. And
it's awesome.
Listen, being there Saturday, you could feel it.
Kicking you.
And I said that okay. I was saying that to my father, who I brought to the game. The excitement was back in the ballpark. People were in their seats. People were into the game. I mean, it was just this. It felt like 08 again. The amount of people in that stadium walking around, like you couldn't believe how many people were there. Lines for all the food vendors were around. It wasn't just Chicky and Pete's that had the long line. They all had the long line. And it was so much fun. And then when he hits that home run, it has not been that loud in there since probably, let's say, the 2011 season. When they had the 4 aces and that whole thing. It was an environment that made me appreciate having baseball back in this town.
Yeah.
And like I said, am I going to be someone who every night is locked in for 9 innings? No. But I'm going to make sure that I'm tuning in every chance I get. and being totally invested in this team because, first of all, 1 through 5 and 8 are like must-see at-bats. 1 through 5 and 8.
And
6 and 7 are fine, but they're just not must-see. I'm just saying they're not they look.
Well, when you put 6 or where does Odubel bat? Is he 6 or 7? When you put 6 in front of Max Scherzer, that's a must-see at-bat. Every time.
Odubel Herrera will forever be the guy that drives me insane. I'm not saying he's been playing bad. I'm not even saying he's done any of these really boneheaded things.
No, he hasn't.
But when he does little things, it irks me more than if, say, another guy did, just because he's Odubel. And in the back of my head, all those other stuff. Like the other night, 2 guys walked in a row. Like the guy threw like 8 straight balls. And Odubel Herrera came up and swung at the first pitch. Like just that, it irks me. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, just don't do that. But I think, as we said last week, the pressure is off of these guys at the bottom of the order. And I think that's going to be a major player.
As we've seen already.
For this team.
I mean, as we've seen already. Yeah. And you can see it all over Maikel Franco that, I mean, for the last couple years that he's been here, his name has always been circulated and going to be a part of a trade somewhere. It's been no secret that they've almost been trying to trade Franco for the last couple of years, and especially then when they're talking about last year trading for Manny Machado or even trying to get someone as good as Manny Machado here. You know, his job has always been, I don't think there's probably ever been a night, you know, over the last couple of years he's been here where he hasn't gone to bed thinking maybe tomorrow's the day that I'm gone. You know, like, I think now he finally feels comfortable and secure on this team, secure in his role, and he can just play baseball, and it's extremely noticeable. And I'm so happy that guys like Odubel and Franco and Cesar, who have been here through some of the, you know, miserable years, who have a lot of talent to, you know, be a part of the permanent roster. I think it makes me so happy to see them still here and doing well so far.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's going to be this kind of a season on the way through. I think there's going to be a lot more wins and losses. I think there's going to be a lot more fun than moments like today where they blow a lead. But think of it this way. They scored 8 runs again today.
What did they, I mean, it's
okay.
I have it written
If
down.
they're going to start
10,
scoring
8, 5, 8, and 8.
Yeah. If they're going to score runs at this clip, it's going to be a lot of fun, and there's going to be a lot more wins. Look, you had what is most likely a once in a blue moon bad outing from Nola today.
The starting
Probably
pitching
not
has
gonna
not
happen.
been great.
Well, I thought
Except for Eflin. Wait, can we talk about how much Rob was poo-pooing Eflin to start before this happened? Can we talk about this? You got Nola, who's, you know, 3rd in the Cy Young. Arrieta's going to take a big step forward. Pavetta's supposed to have a breakout year. You're always going to have your Eflins of the world and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I'm sorry. One star.
Eflin had the best.
Now he's a
Eflin has had the best
Cy Young
start
Award
so
winner.
far. No, I just think it's funny
It's
that
one damn game.
I just think it's funny that the last
they
time
pulled
we
him
talked
after
about
80 pitches. God knows why.
Yeah, but I mean, when they pulled him, they were.
It was a matter of
sense.
I was from what it's just that's what I when I
he had a pretty good at bat last
it.
night too to get Scherzer to waste a couple.
And by the way,
pitches
as bad as Arrieta pitched, he gave him 1 run.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
He had 6 strikeouts.
He didn't have the best night that we would have liked from
but
him. But it took him a really long time to find the strike.
Yeah, I want my. But if you remember, that was the windy, cold night. It took a lot of them a long time.
Oh yeah, it wasn't just him, which is what made it okay.
And I think he's going to be fine. And if our starters can give us 6 innings, most of the time we're going to win. Not we, excuse me. Most of the time the Phillies are going to win.
Look who just
games.
did that. After trying to get all over me.
Did I catch myself and correct myself though, Patrick?
Yeah,
you did, but I feel like
you've done it a bunch of times today.
I never.
I've noticed you've done it a bunch of times today.
No way.
Okay.
No way.
Okay, whatever.
No.
But
No.
I also think. Okay, you say that. Whatever.
Violation.
Okay, stop being a jackass. Please.
Violation.
Stop being a jackass.
That's my word. Please stop using it.
Okay. God. Oh, apparently we can claim words now.
Yes.
How about just Bryce Harper's entrance into the game and then wearing the Fanatic cleats on opening day?
Oh man.
I like
and then the Fanatic wearing
the
the Bryce Harper cleats is great too.
Yeah. But what I also think is something they were talking about this during the Phillies game earlier. They were just kind of saying like, you know, they actually were talking about this on the radio this morning. What do you think the over under is on, starting pitchers from opposing teams getting through more than 5 innings based on how deep the Phillies lineup is. Like, think about how many pitches Scherzer had thrown after the first
Well,
inning
that's the
last
key.
night.
It's not even that they're a deep lineup. It's a lineup of guys that will take pitches, that will make you throw strikes, that's going to make you throw 7, 8 balls to a batter.
But think about the number of times you start an inning with your leadoff batter at Andrew McCutchen, whether it be, the first inning or you come back around in the third, whatever, and you're gone and you come to the next inning starting off with Odubel Herrera. Like, think about how many times you've seen that done already. That's happened at least twice in all of their games so far, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that last night. They started the second inning with Odubel leading off.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got through 5.
Look at the 5.
And
it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
amazing. And I had, the one DC podcast I was on a couple weeks ago. They were like, "Oh, well, it was only because of the error." And I'm like, errors are part of baseball, dude.
Yeah. People can come up with every excuse of whatever they want. The Phillies are good, and you're going to have to just deal with it. Bottom line, they are a good team, and you're going to have to deal with it whether you're from Washington, New York, Boston, Miami. I don't give a damn. You're going to have to deal with the fact that the Philadelphia Phillies are going to be a good team this year. Mm-hmm. Bottom line.
When you take the heart of your lineup last year and put it at the end of your lineup this year while also upgrading the heart of your lineup, that is a very hard lineup to go through.
Exactly.
It's insane.
It really is.
You have to intentionally walk our 8th batter.
All the time. He was on base 5 times yesterday with 2 hits and 3
on base
the wall.
Percentage is
it was
706.
Yeah.
I don't know what after today, but before today's game, 706.
It's unreal, man.
And Bryce's was 556.
And Bryce's hit some bombs.
Dude.
Not just home runs.
Bombs. Absolute. Oh, my God.
And I love
Second longest in the Citizens Bank Park history.
Yeah. That thing, I'm telling you, off the bat, I was sitting in left center. Off the bat, I thought it was getting to the third deck. It was so high and going at such a fast speed. I was like, oh, my God, he's going to put it up there.
I hope he does that on Monday.
I hope he does for you too, Jess.
Thanks, Rob. That's really nice.
You're welcome. I thought I'd be nice to you, even though you've insulted me all episode.
Yeah, well, you've been a pain.
I have not been a pain. I'm just myself.
No.
That's who I am. All right.
There you go.
We have about a little under 10 minutes. So this is Madness.
It's a great intro. I'm proud of you.
This is Madness.
That's even better. Good work.
It's a good one. Thought it was a good voiceover.
Yeah.
Patrick agrees. Shut up.
Patrick, do you have a This is Madness story this week?
Well, since I've last been on here, there's so I started serving at a Red Robin.
Ooh, bottomless steak fries. Awesome.
Yes. And last Sunday night I was working and this family came in and ordered 3 different burgers with no meat. And one person subbed for a veggie patty, but the other ones wanted all like the burger ingredients just without the meat.
That's super weird. That's really strange. At least if you're gonna do that, get the veggie
I had to ring
patty.
it into the thing and like make like a comment like no meat, and then go to like the cooks and be like, they want like the regular burger the way that it comes out, just don't put any patties on it. And he's like, what?
Why do you go to Red Robin if that's how you're going to eat?
That's super weird.
My
go to a burger
God.
place to get burgers without the burger.
Literally
my
go to, I don't know, where's they're like vegetarian restaurant. I'm sure there are. They're all vegetarian.
Go get a salad.
You literally go get a salad because that's essentially what you ordered, and order a roll.
And order a roll and put your salad on the damn roll.
Go to Salad Works. And
Jesus,
you can get a salad
I hate
and a
people.
roll.
I hate human beings.
They also
I really
came
do.
in at like 10:15 and we closed at 11.
Oh God, worst kinds of people.
Oh my God, I would have punched them in the head.
And they did that too. Good God, you should have sneezed in their food.
Oh well, that's kind of mean and
In their
gross.
salad.
In their salad.
In their salad, yeah.
In their salad.
They would have
sandwich.
seen it. There was
in
nothing
their
to hide.
salad sandwich.
There was nothing to hide the salad sandwich.
God.
All right, Jess, what about you?
All right, so I'm gonna tell a funny story about my little sister, who I got her approval to tell this story.
At least you're not making fun of your brother today. She's taking a break at that.
I might make fun of Andrew next week, depending on how he told me a story today, but we have to just wait. I'll wait on that one a little bit. But so Sophie got her license yesterday.
Congrats, Sophie.
Very proud, very happy, very excited for her. So the car that she is driving is a Rubicon, so Jeep Rubicon, and it's just like a Wrangler except it's a little bit more boxy looking. So she is driving that, but she had only been driving it places that my parents have picked her up before. So she gets in the car when it's turned on and gets out of the car and doesn't turn off the car because she, driving to school. Yes. Driving to school and getting out to switch so my dad can drive home or whatever. So this car is a normal car. It's not a push to start. So you have to put the key in the ignition. So this morning, Sophie drove to school and called my mom because she couldn't get the key out of the ignition because she had never turned the car off before. So meanwhile, my mom's like, that's not my car. My car is a push to start. You have to call your father. So my dad is with a client when Sophie calls him this morning. Thankfully, the client also drives a Jeep. So they spent the next 10 minutes coaching the 16-year-old on how to get a key out of the ignition. She eventually got it, but that's what her morning. Gets her license yesterday. Today calls to ask how to get the key out of the ignition.
There's a couple things that I
love her, but good God.
One, Sophie, don't feel bad. Okay? We all make mistakes in cars. I have a tendency, and have many times in the past, locked my keys in the car with the car still running because I forgot to turn it off and lock the doors. So
are you one of those people that hits the lock button on the inside before?
I used to be, and now I don't do it anymore.
Those are idiots.
Secondly, I've also been known to run out of gas while driving.
That's Sophie. Don't do that. I'm not picking you up.
I've done that quite a few times. So Sophie, don't let your sister pick on you too bad. We all make mistakes. Secondly, something that just came up that just irks me is we are only a bridge apart, Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Why do you get a license at 16 and we don't?
Well, you have to. When do you get a license?
17. Actually, 17 is your restricted license, and then 18 is your full license.
So there's a
When do they get their
curfew.
permit?
Can you get a permit?
Permit, they can get a permit at 16, but they cannot drive without someone who's been licensed for 3 years or more at 16.
Okay, so
And that's for an entire year. They cannot get their
an entire year.
They cannot get their restricted license until 17.
So Pennsylvania is 6 months. So on your 16th birthday, you can get your permit. The person in the car has to be 21 or older with you. And 6 months after you get your permit, you can take your license test. Is there a driver's test that you have to take here?
But you cannot get a license until your 17th birthday.
And then so then after that, your license, you have an 11 o'clock curfew until you're 18 in PA.
That's how it is. But
at least it's not Delaware. Delaware, you don't actually have to take a road test. You have to take driver's ed, and they literally just hand you a piece of paper, and they're like, yeah, you're good.
That explains things.
I know.
That explains a lot, actually.
Yeah.
All right. I have one.
It doesn't explain why New Jersey drivers are so terrible, though.
The same reason why, and I'm not saying you, but Pennsylvania drivers have some pretty terrible ones as well.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
apparently the tri-state just sucks.
The whole tri-state. Yeah, honestly, if we all want to be honest, the tri-state and even down into Maryland have some of the worst drivers I've ever seen. Not worse than Italy, because there are just no street laws in Italy.
There are no street laws in
they'll just hit you and they don't care. And
nowhere.
Apparently, drinking and driving totally acceptable in Italy. Totally acceptable. Okay, I'm moving on.
That's it for me. Your turn.
Yeah, we obviously, and I've grown to embrace it. People want to rip Philadelphia fans all the time, more times than any other fan base in America. And sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes we deserve things that are said about us, but a lot of times it's totally overblown. Hence, first game of the season when a couple of guys in total jest boo after one of Bryce Harper's at-bats, and because the microphones caught it, ESPN has a headline, Phillies boo Harper, where Jeff Passan from ESPN said, I didn't even make mention of it because it was such a non-thing. He said, I can't believe anyone picked it up. But regardless, people take shots at us all the time. Yet every time I turn around, there's another video online or another story from LA. Okay? Two things happened at LA opening weekend. One very serious, where a man is in the hospital, I believe still fighting for, I think they said they think he'll be okay, but he was on, what's it called? The breathing tube. The ventilator. I don't know though. That's my wife's, forte.
No, I think I did see he was on a ventilator.
But I'm pretty sure he was on a ventilator. And that's the more serious story. But there was a literal, on Twitter, if you saw it, a brawl in the stands.
I did see
that was so out of control. And nobody touches on it. Nobody says anything about it. And I'm just tired. I don't even care that people rip us as a fan base anymore. I'm fine with us. Rip us. It's cool. I've embraced it. Just like I embraced the madness, I embrace you calling me classless. Okay? It doesn't matter to me anymore. But damn it, be fair with your abuse of fan bases. Be fair with your abuse of fan bases, because this is getting ridiculous. And that's my spiel. That's my spiel. All right. We are just a few weeks away from the NFL draft. By the time we come on next week, we got to be damn near getting to the end of this regular season in the NBA. Okay? We will break it all down for you over the next couple weeks.
It'll be a week from today.
Yeah. So we'll break down everything over the next couple weeks. We'll try and get you some good guests. Patrick, special thanks to you for getting us Phil Booth today. And a thanks to Phil Booth for joining the show.
Jimmy Butler's playing.
Yeah, they're going to win.
I told you they hadn't made a decision yet.
Jess, I want to see, and now I want to thank you. Okay, now, even though you have taken shots at me, I want to thank you for putting together a hell of a show thing, not knowing if I was going to be here today.
I'm glad you made it.
Okay, I'm glad I'm here and not on trial or on the jury for a trial.
We have some further questions. We'd have to take a break.
We thank you all. Make sure you're tuning in Friday 9 to 11. Checking us out on iTunes, YouTube, everything. We love you. Happy 1 year to Pro Sports Notes. Happy 80 episodes to us. Embrace the madness. We'll see you next week.